G'day guys, welcome back to another Bitcoin video today. We had the Fed minutes meeting yesterday. The Federal Reserve hosted a meeting yesterday with Jerome Powell saying quite clearly that the Federal Reserve does not at this point intend to cut interest rates in 2023. This is news to the market because the market was expecting rate cuts to begin in around September 2023. But now obviously that's changed and the whole market has shifted because of that. The market's expectations have shifted dramatically and that leaves us with a more bearish scenario for the S&P 500 and the rest of the traditional markets, and it leaves us with a more intense scenario for Bitcoin. Because the two countering arguments for Bitcoin right now is this. There's the one side of the field which believes in the 4-year cycle theory, which believes that Bitcoin will bottom out before the traditional markets. And there's the other side of the field which believes that the traditional markets will drag Bitcoin downwards and the macro situation more specifically will drag both of them downwards. So it's kind of like, well, which argument are we fighting for here? At this point in time, I'm on the side of the 4-year cycle theory. I've made that very clear over the past year or so. But we do need to look into this because it is quite interesting. It does make the situation a bit more intense because if we do see the other side occur, if we do see traditional markets drag Bitcoin downwards here into 2023, it could drag it down for much longer than previously expected as per the market's new expectations. All right, so before we get into the video, guys, VIP group results have released a few days ago. We had a very profitable Q4 for VIP. Go ahead and check out those results and check out the VIP group. All that stuff's in the description and pinned comment. We've got the Crypto Academy. If you want to learn how to trade, want to learn how to do TA, again, description and pinned comment. And then finally, the community discussion group on Telegram is down there as well. You can join for free and kind of discuss charts with everyone else in the Wolves of Crypto YouTube community. Okay, guys, let's get into the video. I want to start by looking at the shorter term, the medium term charts. Bitcoin has moved back upwards to the bear flag formation. You had a bear flag formation here in the pink. We dropped down below it briefly. In the shorter time frame, we formed an ascending wedge formation on top, kind of below that bear flag formation. But luckily, we've actually broke back into it. We formed a nice little cup formation here on Bitcoin as well. We can expect a little handle potentially and then break to the upside and retest that 17K region. That's probably what we're looking at next for Bitcoin there, because it doesn't look too bad. I mean, look, yesterday we were rejecting off of that bottom of the bear flag and we were going to do a resistance support flip and go downwards further, but now we've broken back into it. And so clearly Bitcoin has some strength here, which is great to see. And it's great to see this fresh daily candle we've seen here, the new one, holding within that bear flag. It's kind of, getting to the point where we're willing to kind of say, okay, maybe this drop below was a fake out and maybe Bitcoin wasn't quite ready to break down from that bear flag formation. So that's good news. So look, that's the good news about this video. I suppose the short term, medium term doesn't look too bad. We broke back into a bearish structure that we broke down below. And if we were to lose that, if we were to break down and that breakdown was to be proper, we would probably be seeing retest that 16K, 15K region. So it's great to see us break back in there. It's good strength from the bulls. That's good news. But, ultimately what we've really been doing here is see, the Federal Reserve, the Fed minutes meeting. And that's kind of the main part of this video because that's the main thing that's happened here, the main difference we've seen change. We saw the Federal Reserve say they're not going to be cutting rates. We're expecting not to be cutting rates in 2023, which of course, as I explained in the introduction, was a bit of a deviation from what they've said previously, where they've said they're going to be cutting rates around September in 2023 or even July. So yeah, this is big news, and this is definitely putting the market in downwards pressure. We've seen the market's expectations for for interest rates change dramatically. If we go to where we were, in September 2023, we would have been expecting us to be downwards here in the 450 to 75 zone, but now it's changed dramatically, seeing a 37% chance for 475 to 500 basis point zone, and even going into December, that still maintains at the same level, and that's because again they're not expecting cut at all in 2023, and the market has adjusted quite dramatically towards that. The reason why this is a big deal is because if we're looking actually at the data here, this is the S&P 500 in blue, and the orange is the interest rates over time. If we're looking at the data, what we can see is that on every single occasion in the last 7 major drops in the S&P 500, every single time, the S&P has not bottomed out while rates are going up. The S&P has only bottomed out while rates are going down, while rates are being cut. That's pretty, a pretty decent indication that, hey, look, maybe the S&P is not going to bottom out until rates cut. And if rates aren't going to cut until 2024, potentially the S&P won't bottom out until 2024. That's the kind of conclusion you can make of this chart. Now, obviously, it's not that simple. There's not just one thing we can look at, like interest rates in regards to the S&P, that determines that. We can also look at inflation. Inflation, shows a little bit more optimistic picture, I suppose. The pink lines here represent where the S&P bottomed, and the orange is inflation. Generally speaking, we see the S&P, generally, not always, generally we see inflation going down when the S&P is bottoming. So we don't see the S&P bottom until inflation has started going downwards. Inflation, of course, has started going downwards, which means, technically speaking, we are in region, and it is possible that the S&P has bottomed or will bottom out shortly. But again, just bring it back to this chart here we saw of interest rates. It's very unlikely at this point that, and this is based off 7 data points, so it's a pretty extensive analysis. It's very unlikely the S&P bottoms out until those interest rates kind of start going downwards. That's based on the trend we've seen historically. Now, obviously, it can happen, but the fact that it's unlikely means we have to assume that it's not going to happen. Okay, so based on this, what we have is kind of a situation posed to us here. Okay, obviously Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle theory, and that 4-year cycle theory suggests that the bottom is either in Q4 or it's going to be in very, very shortly within January, right? That's what the 4-year cycle basically says. The bottom's in or it's going to be in very soon, right? Within this month. And so with the 4-year cycle, a 10-year trend on Bitcoin, supported by presidential cycles, supported by 4 micro trends, supported by the halving, which is a pretty strong trend, with the 4-year cycle saying the bottom's in or it should be in shortly, and the S&P 500 potentially saying the bottom's not going to be in until 2024, we're kind of tossed up between 2 arguments. It's like, well, is the bottom in or is the S&P going to drag everything down? And by that, I mean, is the macro going to drag everything down? And that's kind of what's making the situation so intense for Bitcoin right now. And I suppose the only way to really find out is to wait until the end of January. Because as I said, the 4-year cycle is quite clearly saying bottom's going to be in Q4, it's going to be in January. If we're in February and Bitcoin's putting in new lows, right, and it's still following the 4 years, the S&P, it's still correlated, very strongly to that. In February, we know for a fact that it's probably not going to bottom out until the S&P does. So by the end of January, and this is what makes this month so major, by the end of January, we will literally know the answer to those 2 questions, right? The 2 kind of arguments. We will know which one is stronger. We'll know which one will be correct. Will it be the 4-year cycle, and will Bitcoin be bottomed out, or will the S&P drag Bitcoin down for a full year? If that, even more potentially. That is for 2 arguments, and we're going to find out by the end of January. We've discussed extensively in yesterday's video. I'm not going to go into it too much more because I talked about it so much yesterday. Just go watch yesterday's video. Discussed it quite a bit, how by the week of January 9th, so January 9th to January 16th, we will be seeing a major directional decision on Bitcoin, partly based on the fact that we have a weekly chart RSI compression triangle that's stemming from 2 years ago, coming to an apex at that point. So, within 2 weeks here, we're really going to, not even that, within, 10 days, and probably a lot less than 10 days, but within 10 days at the absolute maximum, we're going to be seeing a directional decision on Bitcoin. If that directional decision is upwards, that dramatically bolsters the argument for that Q4 bottom, for that bottom that was in late November there, and early December. It dramatically bolsters that 15.4k bottom. Whereas if it's downwards, it dramatically bolsters a lower bottom within January, and potentially even bolsters the argument that Bitcoin won't bottom out until 2024, as per the S&P 500. So the next 10 days, and specifically January, or I should say January and specifically the next 10 days, are extremely major. This is a point I've covered a lot, but I really wanted to emphasize that in this video because we just did have that Federal Reserve meeting, and that really kind of I guess you could say, exfoliates the importance of that argument as we see the interest rates not looking to bottom out for longer now, even months extended until interest rates get cut. So yeah, pretty important stuff here. And those 2 arguments are still very much on the table. Will it be the 4-year cycle, or will it be bottoming out with the traditional markets? That's a big question. That's probably the biggest question Bitcoin faces right now. And yeah, that's kind of the video. You guys know the buying plan. Buying plan's pretty straightforward. I'm not buying until there's a trend reversal. Okay, I bought 50% at 17 to 18k, and I'm not going to buy another 50% so I can see a trend reversal because I don't want to try catch the bottom. I don't want to try catch a falling knife with 100% of my portfolio. I don't think that's a good idea. If we did go downwards further to 15k again, or potentially even like 12k or something lower like that, I'm not going to be buying. I will buy when Bitcoin breaks above the bull market support band. I will buy when Bitcoin breaks above the 200-day SMA. I will buy when Bitcoin breaks above this yellow line. And the good news is, the longer we wait, the lower those price points get. Again, it's better not to try catch a falling knife for 100% of your portfolio, because what if it keeps dropping? Then you're screwed, right? Then you can't do anything. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully we have some more short-term developments to get into, and potentially we might even be seeing this breakout on the weekly RSI like any time now, right? We're getting very close to that January 16th date. So very, very close to it. Any day now, we're looking for a massive breakout, either up or downwards. So let's see what happens. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the Bitget Exchange. The Bitget Exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance, which is the biggest major exchange in the cryptocurrency market on futures. It also has 0 fees on every single spot pair, so you can trade spot for entirely free, no fees included. It runs events. Right now it's got a FIFA World Cup event sponsored by Messi, the football player. It's got copy trading, strategy trading. It's got exclusive rewards and discounts in the reward center. It's got everything you need for a trader using an exchange. This is the exchange I personally use as a trader for my everyday trading, and I highly recommend everyone does so at the Wolves of Crypto YouTube channel. Sign up using my referral link for exclusive rewards and discounts. That really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. For my fans from the United States of America, you can sign up using this exchange with a VPN and use the exchange with a VPN and just sign up using my referral link like normal, and you'll be treated like a normal customer because this is also a non-KYC exchange. So make sure to sign up using my referral link in the pinned comment or the description below, and without further ado, let's get back into the video.